So the next activity here on track at this first of 4 days for the 70th Macau Grand Prix weekend is going to be the Macau Touring Car Cup first free practice session, the Macau Touring Car Cup that runs for the China Touring Car Championship. And it's another big grid, and the cars are all set to go for this session. And there you can see Chen Lung, good to go. Another driver to keep an eye on in this is going to be Zhang Zhendong, the 2019 China Touring Car champion in the Hyundai Elantra, looked after by John Waterman, a name familiar from engineering successful cars within the British Touring Car Championship for many, many years. Number 12, Sunny Wong, who also I would have thought was going to start as one of the favourites. And very shortly, as you look at Aaron Kwok's car there, the session will be live with 25 minutes ahead of us for this free practice session. David Addison, Alan Hyde trackside. We had a lot of touring car racing last weekend because TCR Asia with the 2 invitation races took centre stage for touring cars, and this weekend we've got even more of it because not only do we have 2 China touring car races, but we also have the final races for TCR World Tour, which forms the gear race, the traditional gear race at Macau. But these drivers, the majority of whom are local drivers. I say the majority because you have got an Irishman and a Brit, as well as drivers from Hong Kong and China and Macau, the Brit being Jack Young, and the Irish driver being James Hart, although from memory Jack Young is both British and Irish, but on the entry list this weekend he appears as British, Max Hart as Irish. Jack Young, who is the championship leader in TCR China with 3 victories this year. And last year, the Macau Touring Car Cup for China Touring Cars won by Rob Huff, but Rob this weekend is in the gear race. He didn't do the gear race last year, he did this Macau Touring Car Cup instead, but last year's entry has a number of the drivers in this and a number in the gear race for this year. You've got other quick people to keep an eye on, like Andy Yan, like David Zhu. That is Aaron Kwok, and as soon as the pit lane opens, which is imminent, I think, then he will be out on track. And also within this, Alan, you've got somebody that's actually won the Macau Grand Prix, because Andre Couto has found himself a happy home of late in touring car racing, and although it's very different from a single-seater in which he made his name, I would have thought Andre Couto would be a driver to watch, having won this, what, 23 years ago now? Gosh, that makes us all feel old, doesn't it?
A star turn at Macau, a Macau driver, Andre Couto, a name very symbolic with the Macau Grand Prix. Yeah, great to have him here. And Philippe de Souza as well. Philippe de Souza, another Macau driver that is traditionally associated with doing very well here at Macau. So we have got star drivers. This is a great lineup, and also not just a great lineup of drivers, but you mentioned John Waterman, other engineers as well that get drafted in for this weekend from the top teams, because it's quite a thing to bring over a top touring car BTCC engineer to fly them over to get them here well in advance of the weekend, and the teamwork team do it year after year. They've got a huge entry and they have top engineers. So not just the driving force good for this lineup, but also the engineering force as well.
Now, as far as the China Touring Car Championship is concerned, really looking at Jack Young as the championship leader, number 77 Honda Civic, and the other driver to keep an eye on is Martin Cao, sorry, Martin Toe, I should say, to pronounce it properly, or Tao. Tao Hong Wei, to give him his full name, but he goes under Martin Tao, and you've seen him race in British Formula 3 in the past, and he will drive number 7 Hyundai, and is 6 points behind in the championship, and then 3rd in the championship is Zhang, or Jason Zhang, to give him his westernised name, and he is a further sort of 25 points or so back. So they're the 3 to keep an eye on over the course of this first session.
Yeah, Jack Young has had a very good year. He's an impressive driver, isn't he? Based over in the UK, and was incredibly impressive in tin tops. A driver, know, sometimes it's interesting what a driver aspires to, and therefore how early they get into it. But Jack Young, as a young driver that could have been going down a single-seater route, it instantly sort of elected to go down the saloon car, the touring car route, and as a young driver over from just across the way, just over the water, competed in Renault Clios.
That's right.
Did a very good job as well. Impressed all.
And represented Ireland last year within the FIA Motorsport Games.
Yes.
And was impressive. The only thing that sort of went against him was track limit offences and the odd penalty. But he has been very rapid, Jack Young. He had a win in the 6th race of the year at Zhuzhou, and then he won again at Shanghai, and then at Zhuhai, which actually is not that far from Macau. So he's been a formidable driver this year. Max Hart, who is the other interest for British fans, he has had a pretty decent season with podium finishes. Took a 2nd place in Shanghai, and he comes here 8th in the championship, having been TCR UK racer, 3rd back in 2020, and started off in Formula V quite a long time ago there. Max Hart, relatively speaking, like 6 or 7 seasons, but he's another quick driver. So for many of them, of course, people like Jack Young, Max Hart, first time they'll have raced here, so they're getting used to the circuit. And there is number 88, the Lincoln Co. of Aaron Kwok that goes by. So that car, he's yet to score in the championship, Aaron Kwok. He's only done a couple of races, but he's an experienced driver, initially from single-seaters. He's a Clio Cup China champion, and has also raced in LMP sports cars and the Audi R8 Cup. So he's another driver with lots of experience of racing in the region. And
the calibre of racing that we've got over the course of this weekend, with 2 weekends, so to have the China Touring Car Cup competing along the TCR World Tour, absolutely top-notch races this weekend.
No, totally agree. And it's a quality entry. These drivers aren't in their first ever race. You know, they've won titles, they've won races, and they've done a lot of successful racing. And actually, if you think about the number of circuits in the region, which, you know, China has got a good number itself, and then you add into that the fact that some will have raced at Macau before, and some spread their wings to race in Japan or Sepang in Malaysia, or, you know, there's a really bustling racing scene in Thailand. You know, there is a lot of opportunity to go racing in this part of the world. It's a pretty broad inclusion, I'll say this part of the world, but the point I'm making is there are a lot of circuits, perhaps more than one would first think. Number 18, then, you're looking at, of Zhang Zhendong, the 2019 champion. That's the John Waterman engineered driver. And at the end of this lap, we'll start to see lap times offered up by the drivers. Zhang Zhendong, multiple China touring car champion.
There's a lot of Colin Turkington connections here.
Go on.
John Waterman, who is engineering this number 18 car for Zhang Zhendong, is also Colin Turkington's engineer in the BTCC. And we were talking about Jack Young a little bit earlier on when he was doing Clios in the UK. His press and PR was being looked after that year by Louise Turkington, who not only is Colin Turkington's wife and partner, but also looks after quite a bit of the PR and marketing side of Colin's career. So yeah, I think the Irish drivers were coming together and sort of formed a bit of a collaborative in the BTCC paddock and the support paddock, and yeah, so Colin Turkington gets many mentions, even though he's not here.
Not here, yeah.
He has been here.
Yes, indeed, when he raced in the World Touring Car Championship, indeed. Right, Zhang Zhendong then does a 2 minutes 49.439 as the sort of first offering. Last year, fastest laps, just by way of a guide, 2:35s in race 1, 2:34 in race 2. So there is time to be found. Felipe de Souza goes now up, well, briefly to second, but then gets elbowed back down to fourth. And number 36, Jason Zhang, who won the second race last year, so the last year's Macau Touring Car Cup winner. He is now up to second fastest behind Sonny Wong.
Yeah, Sonny Wong goes top, car number 12, with 2 overall best sectors and 3 personal best sectors, 2:44, 4:11. They are very close, very, very tight. But certainly the top 3 incredibly close, just a couple of tenths between them at the moment. So this is looking good for exciting racing over the course of this weekend.
And then you throw Max Hart into the mix, because he's now gone third and he's looking pretty promising. So yeah, Sonny Wong, Jason Zhang, Max Hart, and then number 9 for David Chu. That's the order currently. Felipe de Sousa is 5th, and then 6th fastest is Bragança Macedo e Couto, otherwise known as Andre Couto.
Yes.
Which is a napping site, easier to say.
That's probably the last time you'll say the full name, isn't it?
Ticks it off the list now.
But well done.
Yes.
I'm keeping an eye on Jack Young. He's currently 10th, car 77. He's gone purple in sector 1, personal best in sector 2. I'm also looking at the 55 car, and that's She Xinjie, who is personal best in sector 1, overall best in sector 2. And not surprisingly also, we're also looking at, no, right, okay, let me ignore that and go back to Jack Young, because he's now gone overall best in sector 3 as well. So 2 purple sectors out of 3 for Jack Young. He's going to climb his way up the order for sure on this lap. He's currently 10th, car 77. He's got 2 more sectors to go.
Okay, you're looking at a real traffic jam coming to Melco at the moment, which has got in the midst of it, I think I'm right in saying, Jason Zhang. So Jack Young then, Clio Cup Junior champion, Clio Cup Senior champion, and 3rd in the Motorsport Games, championship leader, and a triple winner this year. He is on a mission, but you can see how busy it is here. 51 also being held up a little bit in the traffic. Wu Yifan heading up towards the line. So at the moment, it is number 18 of Zhang Zhendong, the Hyundai Elantra, that is the fastest, and the Lincoln Co's working together.
Interesting. Jack Young has not gone personal best in sector 4, so I'm going to guess traffic on this one, because he was on a lap. We've not been looking at the car, but maybe with clear track, he can make up for it in sector 5.
In the background, Felipe de Sousa improving, 5th fastest, number 26.
No, he doesn't go better.
Jack Young.
He goes a couple of places, only up to 9th.
And Max Hart's pitted, in fact, having been quick early on. Right up towards the wall there was number 51 of Wu Yifan, but he got away with that, but pressing on. And 55 now, which is Martin Scher, he is fastest by a second and a half, nearly 1.6 seconds, in fact. Out of Lisboa they turn, clock ticks on down, 15 minutes. I'm tempting fate here, and you're going to give me one of your looks. But there just seems to be a bit more respect of the walls and the barriers from drivers this weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah, last weekend.
You're right.
And I'm not saying anything about the driver caliber or the driver's mental, anything. It's just interesting that, okay, we did have a red flag in the Formula 3 session, and we've only had 10 minutes of this, but there just seems to be a bit more confidence on our side that we're not about to have stoppage after stoppage. Is that a feeling you're getting?
Exactly the same. I was getting it during the Formula 3 session. I just thought this is nice because we started last weekend, the first session, Formula 4 cars, we had 3 red flags during their free practice.
That is Zhou Wen, and your point about Jack Young not going quicker, I wonder whether it might have been traffic, but maybe him trying to buy some clear track space, because Jack now has done 2 absolute bests in the first 2 sectors, so he's a man on a mission in 77.
He most certainly is, and then, as we finish saying that, doesn't even go personal best in sector 3. I think traffic is the feature here, isn't it? There are a few entries this weekend that go onto a second page of A4. This is one of them. There are a lot of cars out there. So Jack Young, purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2, and not even a personal best in sector 3. What about 4 and 5? We'll keep an eye, but currently Jack Young 11th in the order.
And Martin Tao, who we have second in the championship, has yet to do a proper lap time. And also Andy Yan, who's been another stalwart, the Hong Kong driver of touring car racing, representing his nation in the Motorsport Games on more than one occasion. He's another one that's yet to really come alive. So there's a lot to look out for, I think, within, and I know it's not a grid, it's only a free practice session, but still a lot that can shake out. That's Max Hart, Hyundai, back out on track.
Zhang Dong has gone top of the times with a 2:33.2. That is an almighty gap at the front of the field, 1.6 seconds quicker than the 55 car of Xie Xinjie, and 2:33.270. Number 18, top of the time, Zhang Dong.
Last year's champion, David Zhu, currently 6th fastest.
Jack Young did go quicker, 3rd.
Okay,
so that's a statement of intent, isn't it?
Although David Zhu has just done an absolute best within the first sector. Number 9 is David Zhu. Whoops, drama at Lisboa, and they've survived it. One up the escape road, and the other one just about made the corner by Nat Sony Crotchet, but mercifully damage is avoided. Yellow flag at turn 4 because somebody is trying to dig themselves out of the escape road.
Zhang Dong has gone purple, is currently top, and has gone purple. That's the 20...
It's de Souza, isn't it?
Is it?
Felipe de Souza?
I think it might be 26, yeah, which has just come to a stop. I can't see where that is.
It's up the escape road at Lisboa, I think, isn't it? Isn't that the one we saw flash left?
Goes straight on, yeah.
Yeah. So drama for Felipe de Souza, who is another stalwart, isn't he, of
absolutely,
Macau,
yeah.
and last year won the gear race.
Yeah, part of the fabric of this event.
Yeah, won both legs of it last year.
Gear race winner is pretty impressive here at Macau.
And especially if you are a Macau driver.
Very impressive, yeah. Just having a look now at the 26 car of Felipe de Souza.
He's trying to reverse himself back to civilization, I think.
Yeah.
But all of this eating into the session. Still fastest is Zhang Dong, who is still 1.6 seconds quicker than number 55, which is Martin Xie in the Honda Civic, the FL5 iteration of the Civic. And you're looking here at the fastest driver in this session. So coming down now into our bend, almost up towards the wall, breaks the beam, goes through quicker still, and he's now 3 seconds clear of anybody else. This is mighty.
Yeah, it really is mighty. Yeah, 3.2 seconds clear of 55, which is the car of Xie Xinjie, is the number 18 car of Zhang Dong, number 18. Okay, we've cleared down at turn 3 now. That's Lisboa, so that means that Felipe de Souza is going again. Incidentally, the Macau driver is currently 8th in car number 26 with a time of 2:36.907. But we've got quite a spread now, so impressive is that time. It comes down a little bit now because Jack Young goes 2nd, so 7/10 of a second the advantage for Zhang Dong at the top of the times. Jack Young, he stated intent, didn't he? And without any overall best sectors, put together 5 personal bests, and that was good enough to go 2nd.
And then number 55, Martin Xie through, and he's down to 6th, but still improving his lap time. Ahead of him on the road is number 88, Aaron Kwok. And Aaron Kwok has yet to really sort of make a breakthrough in this, because he's down to 16th in the times now. Right, Jack Young, absolute best in the first sector. We're not seeing him on screen, but I promise you the British driver is getting faster and faster all the time. There, over the line, goes 82 of Li Jianwen. And 9 more minutes of the session to go. Do you know what? I'm almost pondering whether we can get through this without a stoppage, because we've had so few sessions that haven't been affected over the course of the 2 weekends. You wouldn't believe, but
there is no wood in this competition.
No, nothing to touch.
No. Paper
comes from a tree.
Mine's laminated, so I can't get to the wood.
Can't get the wood, you know. We'll just keep our fingers crossed instead. Sonny Wong has just pitted in number 12 Lincoln Co, the Shell Teamwork Lincoln Co Racing Lincoln Co 03 TCR, to give it its full name. Solitude S's there. Goes Andre Couto. Now, we talked about him early on, and 7th he is in the times right now with 2 personal bests, and Couto's got the road to himself, hasn't he? He's found clear track space, unlike, by the look of it, some of the others.
It's a good lineup, this, isn't it? And many drivers that have competed in the BTCC over the years have found themselves competing in rounds of the China Touring Car Championship. I think Adam Morgan came over and did some rounds.
He did,
yes.
I think, yeah. And I want to say Colin Turkington's done the odd one
he did.
as well.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, Adam Morgan and Norman Burgess release onto an unsuspecting Chinese paddock. Doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
It really doesn't, no. I was frightened then, and I'm still frightened now.
Yeah. When they were at Sicily Motorsport. Right, this is Jack Young. So the Honda heads up towards the line, breaks the beam, and it started off all right, and then it's unravelled. And we've still got a yellow flag down at turn 3.
Escape road again at Lisboa.
That could be Yen Chow, number 25 Audi. On straight on. And that's not going to help Jack Young, is it? Because he's about to come storming into a yellow flag zone.
At the start of the lap through the very quick, the ultra-fast Mandarin on the run down towards Lisboa. That's where the car is negotiating now. These are the ones that touring cars around the gear circuit here at Macau. They have to be really careful, because we saw the single-seaters. If you're on a good lap, you're on your own. You can get it neatly around Lisboa, but there's always that pull just into the barrier on the exits of Lisboa, which is tight for a touring car. We've seen many a car park down at Lisboa across the years, and we have also seen some absolutely superlative overtaking maneuvers. Had a few last weekend.
Now, Andy Yan has arrived, as it were, to go second fastest, and just over 6/10 back from Zhang Zhendong, who's now in the pit lane. There is Andy Yan in the Hyundai. It is entered by Hyundai N, so effectively, if you like, it's a worked car. It's got all the bits, and Andy Yan is somebody else that knows this place very well indeed. So he's got to be a potential winner of the Macau Touring Car Cup, hasn't he? As he comes now down towards Lisboa, and he has got Zhou Zhangzhe just up the road ahead of him there.
6 minutes and 15 seconds of this free practice session today here at Macau. It's all about free practice, apart from one exception, which is the second time we see the Formula 3 cars. We've got 2 cars off there. That's the 25 car and the 82 car. The 82 car is Lai Jingwen, and the 25 car is the car of Zhen Xiao. And those cars hopefully we'll get back on the circuit. Didn't see any damage particularly. Certainly 2 cars off the circuit and not circulating, because it would be very nice, wouldn't it, to get through all of this half an hour session with 5.5 minutes of the session remaining, touching wood and keeping fingers crossed and all those kind of things, that we can get through this without having any interruptions. You're right, David, absolutely. It's so different so far today between the 2 sessions that we've had and the sessions that we had at the start of Saturday, which was day 1 of activity last weekend, because no one could get in a groove this time last weekend. They just were being interrupted lap after lap, maybe not even getting a full lap, and then a red flag of stoppage would just cool the tyre temperatures. And green flag down at Lisboa now, so that's good news. We've got things clear. It was tight on the exit of Melco. It's always tight on the exit of Melco, but sometimes on the entry, maybe the speed, maybe the angle, it just all closes up on the exit of the corner.
So back out again has gone Zhang Zhendong, as you look down at the Melco hairpin, which for the moment is silent, but elsewhere the track is busy. And Andy Yan up to second fastest then, as I was saying. 0.6 of a second is the margin between them. 26 cars we have for this Macau Touring Car Cup. This is the first of 2 pre-practice sessions. And it's not necessarily about setting a time here, it's about mileage, some of them, especially those that have never raced here before, but working through a program, learning what they can. And with 4 more minutes to go, the circuit, of course, also getting a bit more rubbered in as the morning goes through. So next is going to be the Macau 70th anniversary challenge for road sport type cars, and they will have a slightly grippier circuit again. Some, I think, now debating, Al, whether to stay out or pit, and certainly there in number 17 Yang Shao Wei will work out what's best.
So 3.5 minutes of this session remaining for the Macau Touring Car Cup, the China Touring Car Championship. Great entry this weekend, and a class entry as well. Some formidable names in this lineup over the course of this weekend. Jack Young just leaving the pit lane, so there is time, isn't there, to do an out lap plus 1 lap for quite a few of them. Top of the time, Zhang Dong in car number 18, pit out as well, and so too for the 36 car, and that's Zhang Zhuqiang in the teamwork car. Big entry by teamwork this weekend, as always, here at Macau. It's a formidable force, the teamwork outfit, isn't it?
It is indeed. Right, Andy Yan, absolute best middle sector, sector 3. So he's not so quick at the start. Personal best, then an absolute best. So number 3, Hyundai, could be, should be, one to watch. And you're right, lots of those drivers that had been in the pit lane are going out for one last look at the circuit. Maybe a final tweak made, and out they go to see what they can do. Some drivers, when they come into the pit lane, as you see in, for example, other touring car categories, are randomly waved towards the scrutineering area to check the weight, to check the ride height, and then released. So, for example, in has just come Yan Xiao, and it means that he can't get to the team because he's going through the technical checks, which therefore diminishes the chance of him being able to go back out.
Zhe, you're looking at there, the number 55 car. That car currently in 5th position. So they can't leave pit lane now. If they're down in pit lane, they're pretty much going to stay in pit lane without being able to do another flying lap. The lap time, the best lap time, 2:31. We've got 1:44 left on the clock now. It's a slow negotiation of Lisboa there.
Andy Yan went through, brought the gap down from 0.6 to 0.4 of a second. So he went faster, but not good enough to get to the top.
Now on the quick part of the circuit, on the run down towards Lisboa, the right-hander that leads them onto the tight and twisty climbing section. And saying once again, as you get to the next turn, the right-hander at San Francisco, it's quite a climb up that hill, San Francisco Hill. This hill is where Andy Yan is now, climbing up the hill into the narrowing of the circuit with the wall and the barrier either side, twists and turns through Maternity, through Teddy Ip. Quite a section about Teddy Ip and his history racing here at Macau in the Macau Grand Prix Museum, and that was really quite nice to see, including one of Teddy Ip's cars from period. That's a really nice little section, that. Then onto the Solitude S's, the twists and turns of the left and the right, and the left and the right of the S's, through Pale, and then one of these pinch points on the tight, hilly section of the course. Police and Moorish, two right-handers that have many a time over the years caught out touring cars, including one 3 times BTCC champion Gordon Shedden. I seem to remember getting caught out at Police. Checkered flag's gone out, so if you're on the lap you can complete it and maybe make an improvement, but there aren't many personal improvements or overall improvements over the course of the timing screen on this final lap. Andy Yan has personal best sector 2, personal best in sector 4. Checkered flag is out, and you know what? You know what that means, don't you?
Not a stoppage.
Not a stoppage for the first time this year.
Yes. Fantastic.
Wow. I feel the need to high-five you.
Well, absolutely. A touring car driver's doing it, which might not have been where you put your money. Interesting session, that. And I know that it's free practice, and I'm sure that the second time we see the cars on track for a qualifying period will be somewhat different. But it'll be really interesting to see who makes a breakthrough, because inevitably, let's take Max Hart as an example. Once he goes out and has some more mileage, you can anticipate him to find a bit more time. So for now, it's about Zhang Dong, but it might not necessarily stay that way all the way through the day.
So we'll run down the order in a couple of moments once everybody has completed their final laps. But I think we're looking by and large at slower laps this time. Coming up towards the line. Are there going to be any improvements when the checker flag is taken? I suppose probably in the top 15. Maybe half of the cars have been through and taken the checker flag. I reckon this is going to be good. That was exceptional behaviour by the drivers.
Well, he's done it now.
It was pretty good. Number 18, Zhang Dong has taken the checkered flag with a slowdown lap. We rather thought that, but a best lap of 2:31.6. So Zhang Dong, car number 18, tops the times. This is only free practice, but it's so cool to see the not only the drivers from the region, drivers from Macau, from China, from Hong Kong, China, all coming together to compete in the China Touring Car Championship, but also some international drivers in there as well, including Jack Young from Great Britain, finishing up, coming into the pit lane, so didn't put in a quick lap at the end, but Jack Young equipping himself pretty well, first time here at Macau, and finishing up in 3rd place. That's free practice complete, and they will have another free practice session this afternoon, local time at 1 o'clock.
So as far as Zhang Dong is concerned, a really good start to the weekend for him, going fastest then within our China Touring Car session. There are still some drivers taking the flag, and in fact even on the last lap improvements coming. So we've just had Martin Tao, for example, improving up to 4th with an absolute best sector 5, the last sector. So coming out of Macau hairpin and down the hill. That's, you can see, number 86 heading for the timing line, possibly to take it in the pit, because all you're doing on the slow lap is wasting a set of tyres. But for Zhang Nan, pit lane beckons. And yes, to make the point again, not a marked car. Yes, we had a few up the escape road, but no damage, no contact, and everybody being respectful of the circuit and sensible. And we've not been able to say that terribly often over the course of the weekend, have we?
No, not at all. That's the first time. Really good, and it was a clean session for Formula 3 cars this morning. It was a clean session.
Well, cleanish.
For cleanish, just one stoppage.
Just the one annihilated left front corner. Yes, but apart from that, it was clean. Zhang Dong is fastest then at the end of the Macau Touring Car Cup free practice session from Andy Yan and Jack Young. Martin Tao 4th ahead of Jason Zhang and Martin Shea. 7th fastest in the end was Yang Xiaowei, and 8th quickest David Zhu. Max Hart 9 from the top 10, rounded out by Rainy Hay. 11th Andre Couteau ahead of Yu Yifan. Then 13th fastest was Lin Shenghua. Sunny Wang a long way back 14th, and Felipe de Souza a long way back, the gear winner of last year, only 15th in the times. 16th it was number 92 of 2 will be 1 o'clock local time as we look back at the best bits of FP1.